Right now, inside BMW's largest manufacturing facility in South Carolina, the factory floor looks radically different. At a BMW factory, a humanoid robot called Figure 03 has officially gone to work alongside human employees. This is BMW's Spartanburg plant, the largest BMW factory on Earth, producing over 400,000 vehicles a year. And Figure 03 is now part of the assembly line. After its predecessor, Figure 02, successfully helped build over 30,000 real BMW vehicles, Figure AI didn't just run another test. They signed a commercial contract and deployed this next-generation humanoid directly into the daily workflow. What makes this terrifying to some and thrilling to others is that Figure 03 isn't just following a repeating loop. It sees, thinks, and adapts in real time. If an auto part is misplaced or flipped upside down, its visual brain, Helix 02, recalculates instantly, solving problems on the fly. The biggest story isn't that a robot got a job at BMW. The biggest story is what happens after the second robot, the 1,000th robot, and eventually, every company wants one. Let's break down exactly how Figure 03 is changing the way cars are built, and what this means for the future of human labor. Now here's where I need you to pause and really think. This is a robot clocking in every single day on a real production line next to real human beings building real cars that real families will drive. In their official statement, BMW's Vice President of Production Control and Logistics, Ulrich Wieland, said, "Plant Spartanburg is the birthplace of humanoid robotics in BMW manufacturing's operational day-to-day activities." Read that again. Birthplace, not experiment, not trial. Birthplace. That's the word a car company uses when it believes something is only going to grow from here. And Figure AI's founder and CEO, Brett Adcock, said, "Our 11-month deployment of Figure 02 proved that humanoids are no longer lab experiments." He's not saying, "We hope this works." He's saying it already worked. 30,000 vehicles worth of worked. Okay, deep breath. Let's not panic yet. Let's understand the machine first. Figure 03 isn't just Figure 02 with a fresh coat of paint. According to BMW and Figure AI, here's what's new. Soft outer components, basically padding. So if it accidentally bumps into a human, it's safer than a robot made of hard metal edges. Wireless charging it can juice up without anyone plugging in a cable, meaning less downtime. Speech-to-speech audio, you can literally talk to it, and it can talk back. Yes, your future coworker might have a voice. Improved hands with tactile sensors, so it can feel what it's touching. And tiny cameras built into its palms, so it can see what it's gripping, even at a weird angle. Think about that last one for a second. A robot that can feel and see with its hands at the same time, that's not a vending machine with legs. That's genuinely close to how our own hands work. Figure AI also said something interesting, that the older Figure 02 had very few hardware failures overall, but its forearm was the weak point because it had to be small, flexible, and handle heat all at once. So for Figure 03, they redesigned the wrist electronics from scratch. In simple words, they are learning from their own robot's mistakes and fixing them fast. That's a company iterating like a real engineering team. This is the part I find most interesting, because when you listen to different people talk about this, you get two completely different movies playing in your head. Elon Musk, who is building his own humanoid robot at Tesla, called Optimus, at a recent investment forum, put it simply, "My prediction is that work will be optional." His argument, roughly, is this: if robots can build things, cook, clean, and do the heavy lifting, then humans don't have to work to survive. We can work because we want to, on things we actually enjoy. Musk has gone as far as saying this technology could help eliminate poverty over time, because things will simply become cheap to produce when robots, not tired humans, do the producing. Even Brett Adcock, when asked directly about the scary Terminator question, robots turning against us, laughed it off, but took it seriously too. In an interview on the Sean Ryan Show, he said,
"Yeah, we don't want the Terminator popping out here when we
definitely not
this work, right?"
He explained that the whole reason humanoid robots are only becoming real now, not 10 years ago, is because cheap electric motors, better batteries, and AI brains all matured at the same time. Basically, we got lucky, or unlucky, depending on how you look at it. that all the puzzle pieces came together in this decade. NVIDIA's CEO, Jensen Huang, sitting right next to Musk on that same stage, said, "Everyone's jobs will be different." Even the Yale Budget Lab has gone on record found that so far, the broader job market has not shown a clear, discernible disruption from AI automation, despite years of headlines predicting mass unemployment. Samuel Solomon, a labor economist at Temple University, told Fortune magazine that even if the world eventually needs something like universal basic income to support displaced workers, finding the political willpower to actually make that happen is a completely separate problem. So here's the honest picture. The technology is racing ahead. The rules, the safety nets, the plans for humans who lose these jobs, those are lagging way, way behind. Now, if you thought this was just a one-factory story, here's the part that changes the scale of everything. Figure AI isn't stopping at BMW. Brett Adcock has openly said his company's goal is to scale from a few thousand robots a year to 1 million robots per year. 1 million robots every single year. And BMW isn't putting all its eggs in one basket either. At its Leipzig plant in Germany, BMW is also testing a completely different humanoid robot called Elon, made by Hexagon. This one rolls on wheeled legs instead of walking, so it can move faster on flat factory floors. So this isn't a will it happen question anymore. This is a how fast and how many question. And Tesla, remember Optimus, is not far behind either. Elon Musk has said Tesla wants Optimus to eventually reach 1 million units a year too. And he's even said Tesla is repurposing old car factory lines to build robots instead of cars. Read that again. A car company converting a car factory into a robot factory. Maybe you don't work in a car factory, but here's why this still matters to you. 1. Factory logistics jobs, sorting, lifting, carrying, organizing, are usually the first jobs that get automated because they're repetitive and predictable. That's exactly what Figure 03 is doing right now. History has shown us again and again, what starts in one factory rarely stays in one factory. 2. If humanoid robots really do scale to millions of units, the way both Figure AI and Tesla are promising, the price of making things could fall dramatically. That could mean cheaper products for all of us. Good news for your wallet, maybe. But it also means the value of human physical labor could fall just as fast. That's the trade-off nobody's fully solved yet. 3. And I say this with a smile, not a threat. Your future coworker might genuinely be a robot with a voice, tactile hands, and a camera in its palm. Let's talk cold hard facts, because vague fear isn't useful. Clear facts are: Figure 02 worked in BMW's body shop for 11 months and contributed to over 30,000 vehicles, according to both BMW and Figure AI's own statements. BMW says the work occurred without incident, meaning, as far as public statements go, no major safety failures were reported during that pilot. Figure AI publicly said the main hardware weakness in Figure 02 was the forearm, and this was directly redesigned for Figure 03. That's a real engineering feedback loop, not just marketing talk. Figure AI's valuation has reportedly jumped roughly 15 times in about 18 months, reaching close to $39 billion, backed by companies like NVIDIA, Microsoft, Amazon, and even Amazon founder Jeff Bezos personally. Tesla, meanwhile, is targeting a production-ready Optimus prototype in 2026, with a goal of eventually building 1 million units a year at scale. When you put real production numbers, real billion-dollar valuations, and real factory floor hours together, this stops looking like a maybe someday story. It starts looking like a countdown. I'm not going to lie to you and pretend I know exactly how this ends. Nobody does. Not even Brett Adcock, not even Elon Musk, no matter how confident they sound on stage. But here's my honest read based on everything we've covered. In the next 5 years, expect humanoid robots like Figure 03 to spread across more car factories, warehouses, and logistics centers. First in wealthy countries with high labor costs, because that's where robots become cheaper than humans the fastest. In the next 10 to 15 years, if costs keep falling the way Figure AI and Tesla are promising, we may start seeing these robots move beyond factories into hospitals, hotels, maybe even homes, doing chores most of us find boring anyway. The uncomfortable middle part. There will be millions of workers, real people, real families whose jobs shift or disappear faster than new jobs are created to replace them. That transition period is where the real pain will be felt, and where governments, companies, and honestly, all of us need to have honest conversations now, not later. I don't think this makes humans useless. I think it makes the kind of work humans do change, probably toward creativity, care, decision-making, and the kind of judgment a robot, no matter how smart, still can't fully replicate. But I'm not going to sit here and promise you it'll be a smooth, painless ride. It won't be. Change this big never is. So let's go back to where we started. 30,000 cars, 11 months, and now, a brand new robot with hands that can feel on a factory floor in South Carolina. I need you to understand that's not imagination anymore. That's plant Spartanburg, South Carolina, right now, today. The question isn't, will robots take over factories? That ship has already left the harbor. The real question, the one that will define your next 10 years, my next 10 years, and honestly, our children's entire working lives is this. Are we going to prepare for this change, or are we going to let it happen to us? I don't have the full answer, but I promise you this on this channel, we'll keep watching, keep questioning, and keep bringing you the truth without the hype and without the panic. If this video made you think, even a little, hit that like button, subscribe, and tell me in the comments. Are you excited about this future or genuinely worried about it? I read every single comment, and honestly, I want to know what you think. See you in the next one.